go live right now because I tell you what, I'm a tired girl. I'm so tired. Oh, let me tell you, we had a great time yesterday afternoon up there with Pamela Evett covering it for y'all on Facebook Live. If you go to Facebook page WCRS 98.5 FM, /1450 AM. You'll be able to see lots of videos. Christy Wright went as my assistant yesterday afternoon. We had a blast. I was just looking over what some of the comments coming in, not on my Facebook page, but from the media and whatnot about her entry into the race. Me personally, I think it's great. I think maybe because I've known her for so many years and she's called in on the radio month after month after month, and we've talked about things, and sometimes we agreed. Most of the times we agreed on things. Sometimes we disagreed, and she has always been strong, and she has been let's see, this is a funny way to say it, convicted in her beliefs. She has conviction of her beliefs. And yesterday was no different. There was a huge crowd there, and we were there as WCRS media to cover it. I will be posting more pictures and everything. I did Facebook Live. You can go back and watch that. And some of the Facebook Live we'll be putting up on the website too. Now, I do, just before I get into any more discussion here, let's just see where we are on the website as far as getting things up. I know they've been working fast and furious to get some of this stuff up. Looks like we are through Fridays of shows, so that means we'll be getting those up hopefully today, some of the videos from the Blues Cruise, and should get back on track today if you like to watch it on the website. But anyways, in my opinion, fabulous launch for Pam last night. So I'm wearing my pink sparkly hat if you want to check it out on Facebook here this morning. Trying to give myself a little positive look here, a little positive vibe. I'm telling you, oh my gosh. But anyways, let's talk about Pamela Evett and the launch. It is, I think, one of the things that Pam made the connection of, and I think it is a strong connection. Her husband spoke at this event. What I liked about it is it wasn't that long. It was designed to launch the campaign, let people come up and talk and everything after it. But I think the program started at 5:30, 5:45 actually, and they started almost right on time, and it was finished up by started at 5:45, 6:45. Program was done. People were outside talking. Beautiful venue up there at the Smokestack. If you've not been there, beautiful location. So check that out if you're looking for a cool place with some nice vibes to it. It's a meeting place. It's a venue for all different types of things. Plus, there are some businesses in it. But it's basically, and they've got everything technology set up to be able to do it. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Pam, since that was my big event yesterday. What's your big event today, Ann? Nothing. I want to do nothing. I covered the Blues extraordinarily well, I think. And then we went up there and did that last night. Tomorrow I'll be... Okay, I've got my wire here. Tomorrow we will be at the Veterans Center doing some Facebook Live covering that for the Veterans Day appreciation. So I'll be zipping around being Facebook Live and doing that. And then I am doing nothing. Nothing. I have got to have a little, other than coming on the morning show and telling you how I'm doing. Nothing. Nothing. No, there's so much going on. I got to keep up on what's happening, and I feel like I'm a little out of the loop. But anyways, I'm here now to tell you I thought it was a great launch. For me, who talks with Pam every month, and knows that she is a little, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but that she has been a little constrained in the things that she is able to say out there because she is the lieutenant governor of our state. She wanted to support, I'm sure. But I know that probably there were things that she might have done a little different. I mean, I think overall she is very positive with Henry McMaster, and of course she was a newbie in the political field. But I do know that sometimes I think she has been constrained, and as she should be, because she was his lieutenant governor. I think one of the things that Pam made a big difference about her and most lieutenant governors is that she was a partner with Henry. She was right there, part of what was happening. She was, to coin a phrase, she was the last one in the room. Oh, I don't know what I'm talking about there. But no, she was a partner. She was out there pushing and helping the agenda. So from that standpoint, she wasn't a ceremonial lieutenant governor who would only take over if something happened. She was involved. And she was involved because she was running all across the state in so many different places. She was representing South Carolina. I think she said today she was going to, she's flying out today and going to the governor's conference, and she is actually going to be presiding over it, the lieutenant governor's conference. That's what it was. And she is going to be presiding over it. So she is well positioned because of her connections. She is well positioned because she's put in the work to be this. And you would expect no less of Pamela Evett simply because she's that type of person. She wants to know it all. So I was excited to see her launch. I'd been talking to her for months, every week or every month when she'd come on. Okay, are you ready to announce? Are you ready to announce? No, not yet, Ann. No, not yet, Ann. But I don't think that we as South Carolinians could do any better than to have her as our governor. I think also I was impressed by the fact that there were a lot of, there were all ages of people there. This was I'm going to call it a big tent Republican Party. I talked to a lot of people who, some people were there to find out more about the lieutenant governor. Some people, even though she's been our lieutenant governor, have not been engaged, and I think that's normal. But she came out strong. She came out strong on several points. One, that she has always been a supporter of Donald Trump. She wasn't, I'm going to paraphrase what she said. She wasn't a fair weather friend. She was there through the good times and the bad times. She was there. She actually was a surrogate out there when Donald Trump was running for office. So she knows Donald Trump. She ascribes to his policies, and she also was there from the beginning. She's also a big supporter of Henry McMaster. She has... I guess we could say she has learned from the master. Anyways, she worked hard in her own business. She grew her business to over $1 billion business with her husband. And So she's been in the trenches. She knows the difficulties that businesses have. She knows the difficulties of being a governor because she's been right beside, as Lieutenant Governor, Henry McMaster. And as she said, today is day one of my campaign for governor of South Carolina. And day one matters. It has always mattered to me. She went on. I'm going to read just a little bit of her speech. Like so many of you, when Donald Trump came down that golden escalator, I was sold. As someone who has spent the majority of my life working, building, and growing a successful business, I know we needed something different in Washington, D.C. to fix our country. We needed an outsider and a business person. When others hedged their bets, I was all in. When others waited to see which way the political winds would blow, I stood firm. Like so many of you, I was with President Trump from day one because I knew he would be transformational leader who would restore America's greatness. That's a little bit from the opening of her all-in speech. Last night up there outside of Greenville, easily there. And then she goes on, and I'm not going to read anymore. I do have it all posted if you want to see it on our Facebook page, WCRS 98.5 FM /1450 AM. Then she went on to say, as your Lieutenant Governor, I've stood beside Governor Henry McMaster, ready to fight for South Carolina's conservative values at every turn. From the very beginning, Governor McMaster and I worked as a team, banning sanctuary cities, standing firm with law enforcement, protecting life, defending your Second Amendment rights, fighting for parental rights, and ensuring men could never, and I mean never, compete in women's sports. Governor McMaster trusted me from day one to be more than a ceremonial lieutenant governor. He made me his partner in governance. He empowered me to focus on critical issues that impact businesses and families. And today I stand before you as a mother, a conservative businesswoman, and a fighter who is ready from day one to continue that conservative legacy as your next governor. Oh, excuse me. So that was her opening statement there. Very, in my opinion, very powerful, very on point, and staying on the core values that I know that Pamela Evatt ascribes to. I think she will bring the next phase of growth in our state. I think she is the person that can be transformative in South Carolina. I know you're going to say, well, Ann, you never get that excited about somebody. You're right. I don't. But I am excited about the fact that Pam has entered. I think she has worked hard for the last 7 years, 8 years, whatever it is, to learn, and she is strong, and that is why I think she will be great. One of the points she makes is that she was not a politician, and she's not a fair weather friend. If she's your friend, if she's on your side, she stays on your side. She is not one of those that looks at the political winds and blows in and blows out depending upon how it looks for the political fallout that happens. So that was our evening yesterday evening. A lot of support. I'm telling you, people were having just so much fun, and got to see Karen Floyd last night. Karen Floyd is someone that I truly do admire. She was in politics. She now has a very successful magazine, Elysium, and does a lot of, I think, really cool stuff. I talked to her last night. I didn't know she knew me. She says, oh yeah, Ann Eller, I know you. I follow you. I'm like, Wow. Okay, Karen Floyd. But anyways, I've always wanted to interview her, and I said, Karen, I know you don't have time right now, but sometime I would love to sit down and talk to you. And she goes, oh, Ann, she goes, I did this for Pam because I think I'm so supportive, but I actually I don't do many interviews because I don't like to be interviewed. And she goes, but I tell you what, if I ever do get interviewed, I will call you and I will sit down and we will do an interview. I know that was a great letdown to me. And I said, well, I don't know if you know me. I'm Ann Eller, WCRS Radio. She goes, Ann, I know who you are and I follow you. And I was like, wow, well, thank you, Karen Floyd. So anyways, she gave a really good opening statement, and as I said, I have always admired her. Now let's see what some of the stuff that's been put out there about Pamela Evitt here. The overview here. What have we got? In a Trafalgar Group poll, which was in March, she led 31% ahead of Nancy Mace, who was at 29%, and Alan Wilson at 27%. Follow-up First Tuesday strategies was also done in March. That one was not as positive, so showed that she had dropped significantly, and she was trailing Wilson and Mace. However, that was back in March. And what month is it? This is July. I certainly hope that she will get the support of the governor. Alan Wilson has said that he was going to get the support. Governor McMaster hasn't endorsed anybody, but Pam just got into the race. But he, in my opinion, should, because he knows her strengths and everything. She, of course, her business success, proven conservative leadership, support base, McMaster loyalists, plus Trump-aligned conservative voters. Well, that's a pretty good base to have just getting starting. What are some of her challenges to keep pace in a strong primary field? And that's where I think you're going to see Pamela Evitt dig in and go for the gusto. She knows what it's like to build a business. She knows what it's like to have to compete. And compete she did in her business world. If you want to read more about her, you should go to PamelaEvitt.com. That's PamelaEvitt.com. So that's what I would suggest that you do. Let's see what some of the news sources are saying out here. Of note, I was kind of surprised that there was not more legislative people, the governor, everything. And I was told, and afterwards I thought about it, and I thought, well, that's good. The good news that is. They said no. A lot of people wanted Pamela to have this moment. They didn't want anybody there that would take away from her. So I definitely can see that. What's it say? There was an opening video that they put out. It's kind of received mixed reviews. It's very snazzy, shall I say. Lots of video and lots of stuff, lights, action, camera. Someone said, did Pam Evitt's team drop acid for designing that campaign ad? That's what one upstate political mused. But anyways, it is a little jazzy. But then again, if you remember, Donald Trump went out there and was hitting a different media source. He was out there doing podcasts and this type of thing. And that is the thing that made the difference. I think you'll see that Pam will be one that will go after some of these other audiences that are not normally aligned with the Republican Party. And I think one of the things the Republican Party here in South Carolina needs to expand its base, needs to expand. I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and I brought up that if we're the Big Tent party, then this Big Tent party has to include different ways of reaching people. They always talk about in school reaching people where they are at. And I think the same thing goes for the Republican Party. I mean, South Carolina is basically a red state. But a red state has got to be innovative in how they reach their people, how they reach those younger voters, how you reach those, I'm going to say, disenfranchised people that are in that 25 to 45 that don't really see where government is helping them. So I think that's what you're going to have to see to bring together factions from all different sides. So whether somebody is totally into exactly as the platform stands as a purist, or whether you have room for other people to be part of it who ascribe a lot to, but maybe have some issues with some part of it, I think you have to work to include all. And that would be my advice to the Republican Party, is to start including more and being more open to doing things that give you the access to all people and make all people see that being conservative is a great word. It shows that you're responsible. You want to people to hold on to their money. You want people to spend their money the way they want. These are some of the things that are, being a conservative. So that was just so while they may have been a little hard on her techno video, I think overall she was trying to make a splash. if I'm going to say it from the other side. Early polling in this race, with one notable exception, has shown Evitt trailing Attorney General Alan Wilson and U.S. Congressman Nancy Mace, the two perceived frontrunners in this race by wide margins. Her key to relevancy, receiving the imprimatur of Trump, something she has reportedly assured key donors is in her bag. Others are less certain. I don't know. I think that Pamela Evitt is going to dig down deep and she's going to work hard. I don't think that she would jump in this race if she didn't think she could pull it off. She's not one of those that just says, oh, I'll just run. She's not a political politician. Yes, because of what she's done, she has become more political. What she's done for the last 7 years, she's learned the art of how to answer a question. How not to answer a question. I mean, I've dealt with Pam on this, and sometimes you just have to scratch a little deeper to get there and find the answer that you want. But again, I think nobody is putting the issue that she has been Henry McMaster's lieutenant governor. She has had, and she has been on a short leash as Henry McMaster's lieutenant governor. Now now I certainly hope, even though she will still be the lieutenant governor for the great state of South Carolina, that the gloves will come off and she will be able to punch back instead of deferring to the governor, that she'll be able to have her own opinions, because I know she has opinions and I know she has a vision, and her vision is for South Carolina greatness. So that's basically what I wanted to say about that. She's talked about all the points that she is supportive of, where she wants to take South Carolina. One of the big things she said, no income tax. That's a big lollipop candy there, folks. No income tax. It's how you get there and how you go about doing it is what is important. Just to use that as a hook is not going to work. You've got to have a real solution, and I believe Pamela Evitt will. She won't be putting that out there as an empty promise. She won't be saying, oh, we'll do no tax. She will actually have a plan how we get there. As an accountant, she knows how to crunch numbers. She knows how to be exact. And I believe she's going to say, folks, this will work and this is why it'll work. I also think she'll be the person that would say, it ain't gonna fly, folks, and I'm gonna tell you why. So that's why I think Pam is a great candidate and would be a great governor. So we will see where this goes. It was, of course, it was a very positive, uplifting night last night because a lot of people have been waiting for her to make this decision, and she has now. So congratulations, Pamela Evitt, Lieutenant Governor for the great state of South Carolina. In case you don't know, I'm excited, and unless something changes, I think she is the person that can keep South Carolina on a great track. And so I'm glad to see that. All right, let's see what else is going on out there. Do we have anything else exciting? I know we do. Trump is talking about 100% tariffs. 100% tariffs for any country that is buying things from Russia. He has had enough. He has had enough. I guess we can say that. He has had enough. He's given them 50 days to come to the table. He is going to be selling more weaponry. Interesting. And this is something you may not have caught. They're going to be selling more weaponry to Ukraine. But NATO over there in Europe is going to be buying the weaponry and then getting it to Ukraine. Did you think about the difference? Instead of us just giving it to Ukraine, well, being very supportive of Ukraine, NATO, the European alliance, has come together and they are going to buy the weaponry. And so their support of Ukraine is going to come from their buying our superior weaponry and then getting it too. Now, what is the deal as far as getting it to Ukraine? I don't know. But that is a huge, I think, change as far as doing something. So if you are wondering, are we that much deeper into supporting Ukraine? Not really, because it looks like we're going to get paid for what we're sending, because NATO, the organization, is going to be buying the goods. So look at that as a way of doing business. Sometimes you go, well, we're just getting deeper and deeper. Not really. If we're selling that to NATO, we are simply providing a service. Of course, we do have to ramp up what we're doing in a bigger way in order to make sure that we are having enough weaponry for ourselves. So that's what I got going on. That's what I got going on here this morning. I'm sure there are some more things out there we should talk about. I probably should because I was saving stuff as I always do. Sherry Biggs, Representative Sherry Biggs is going to have a telephone town hall tonight. It was supposed to be a little early at 5:45. It has now been scheduled for this evening, July 15th at 6:15. So it's at 6:15. If you would like to be part of that town hall, starts at 6:15. It says direct dial in. If you've never done this, this is kind of fun to be on a telephone line at 833-380-0737, or you can go online at sherrybiggs.com/live. So they're doing a direct line dial in at 833-380-0737 or online at sherrybiggs.com live. So however you would like to watch it or be part of it, certainly that would be the thing to do. That is at 6:15 today, a telephone town hall tonight with Sherry Biggs. So you might want to check that out and see what is going on. Oh, here's a story that I thought was great yesterday. You're gonna hear my update on this. Clergy leaders carry a casket into the office of Senator Lindsey Graham in protest of a budget bill. I think this is great. Oh, I gotta have a little libation here to keep me going. Religious leaders, I love this. Religious leaders across the country delivered caskets to the offices of senators in 11 southern states, including Carolina's Lindsey Graham, to protest the possible fallout of the federal reconciliation bill. Every member of Congress from South Carolina, except for Democratic Representative Jim Clyburn, voted for the legislation which cut more than $1 trillion from the Medicaid program. About 35 people gathered outside of Graham's Greenville office on July 14 with signs that called for the federal bill policy murder before walking into his Washington Street building with a casket to illustrate the people they say that will be hurt by the bill. The Reverend Alexis Carter Thomas organized the Greenville demonstration in tandem with leaders from several states. Anyways, okay, so they take a casket in there, and I'm looking at it, and it says, cuts to Medicaid, our policy, our murder. And it says, today we focused on the cuts to Medicaid and SNAP and how people, families, and communities will be devastated. Carter Thomas said the movement focused on southern states because they could face more significant fallout from the bill due to higher poverty rates. Some of the other states that took part were North Carolina, Tennessee, Florida, and Georgia. Okay, so now let me just give you my take on this. What they have in my, and nobody knows exact, so I think it's a little premature to get so excited. But from what has been said and what I have read, excuse me. Sorry. What I have read so far is that it is to cut out the waste and the fraud that exist. I happen to know there is a lot of waste and fraud in the system. We all know there is a lot of waste and fraud in the system. The idea that people, able-bodied people, cannot get out and work, I mean, if you want to be in the system, if you want to get the advantages of the system, then you have to show that you are capable. If you are capable, This system was always designed for those that were not capable. It wasn't just a handout. And that's where our government has got to change. It should be a hand up, not a hand out. So the quote cuts that they are making is not to hurt those that have desperate need of the funding that comes from SNAP, which is the food stamp program, and to the Medicaid. It is to conserve it for those that do really need it by frittering out the waste that we spend. You know, one thing we as Americans seem to forget day in and day out is when you say the government does this, the government does that, who is the government? The government can only survive because we, the people, send our money to the government. Without our money, there would be no way there'd be any services. You have to, in order to have a government, it has to be supported by the people. And that's the way ours is set up. So if you're frustrated by seeing somebody 2 doors down from you getting assistance, if you're tired of standing in the Publix line for to get your groceries and see certain type of items that you can't afford to buy, but somebody that has a SNAP credit card can buy, maybe you should look at it as, is that really the right way to spend our money? So, by making our government more accountable to the people that are doling out the money, by making it so that people that really need it have to show that they really need it, by making people either work, and I find this mind-blowing, work 20 hours a week, so that's 80 hours a month, or be in school, or, what's the third one? Be in school, or volunteer, do a volunteer job. They're really quite generous in what they're allowing to be work. When I see people on TV that they interview that they say, oh, I could never go out and get a job, it just would be too much for me, that is a crock. I mean, what did these people never have chores at home? I mean, you know, you grow up doing chores. You grow up doing work if you have a family that cares about your development. If you have a family that is so dysfunctional that you never have to do anything, well, I feel sorry. I feel sorry for you. But it is time that you learn to do a few things. Volunteering 20 hours a week. Get yourself in school to be able to get a job 20 hours a week, or get a job and actually work 20 hours a week. And that way they will be able to continue your benefits. But just a handout and do nothing for it, I agree 100%. For those that cannot work, for those that have small children in the house and they need the food stamps because they have to be there to take care of their children, I understand. And those people are not being cut. And it's our money that is funding this thing. When we say the government pays, well then Ann Eller pays, and Joe Smith pays, and John Doe pays, and Mary Smith pays, and all these people put money in the pot to make this happen. And we have to be judicious with how we dole out our money, just like we do in our families. To ask for people to spend more money for illegals to be able to be on this system, and there are plenty of illegals on this system. I know it for fact. There are things that are just happening that you and I wouldn't think is happening that's happening. So To get back to my story on Lindsey Graham, I think it's great. You know, if I was there, I would have looked at that casket and said, "Are you leaving it?" Because someday I'm going to be gone and I'll be able to check that off as something I've already got. Got my own casket. There you go. And maybe we should look at it as, maybe he could turn it around and look at it. Yes, folks, this is not the casket of death. It's actually the casket of life, because we're getting people out there living life instead of just existing life. So that was a story I thought was great. Boy, they put that out there. They put that out there like they were really doing something bad, but I don't think so. The Congressional Budget Office estimates the Senate version of the bill would reduce Medicaid spending by roughly $1.1 trillion, potentially causing nearly 12 million people to lose health insurance within the next 10 years. But again, if we can change the culture of the need of it, meaning you just don't go on SNAP food stamps, you just don't go on Medicaid. There are systems out there that require you to be independent. The problem is we do have to change the culture of our society. For too long, we have looked at it as necessary that we just do this. It's time that we look at things with new glasses and say, this is what we can do. This is the people we are willing to support. The rest of you need to learn how to work, volunteer, get a skill to be able to get a job. By the way, I want to say that I don't know a lot about this program. We are going to be having someone on to talk about this program. But Piedmont Tech has just started a program that will be, you'll only have to go, you not have to go, but to go to school instead of taking a full class load, instead of taking 4 subjects, will be 2 subjects, so that you will complete your classes. I think on the same schedule they have intense for half the semester and then intense on 2 other topics or subjects. But make it easier for people, instead of having to spread their time to get 4 subjects, they'll do 2 intense for half the semester and then 2 intense subjects for the rest. You'll still get the same 4 subjects you would normally need. So check that out at Piedmont Tech. If you are looking to go to school, check that out. There may be some great ways to make it easier. A lot of people have said it's been hard for them to work, focus, and do everything that they need to do. So by doing this, you'll work on 2 subjects at a time, and that is for half the semester, and then the rest of the semester you will work on 2 other times. So that is pretty darn cool, I think. I think that is pretty darn cool. Let's see, what else did we have here? Oh, this is another good story, and then I probably should give it up here. Penny wants to know where I'm at. This is a black bear story, and this was the headline that caught my attention. Black bear attacks 69-year-old woman. Officials seek to euthanize the animal. I'm like, oh my God, is that here in Greenwood? No, it's not in Greenwood. But it is an interesting story. And black bear attacks a 69-year-old woman. Officials seek to euthanize the animal. This is out of USA Today. It says authorities say they are searching for a black bear who attacked a 69-year-old woman in Wisconsin, severely injuring her. The victim, who has not been publicly identified, reportedly the attack near Comstock to the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources around 2 p.m. on July 12th, adding she was able to call 911 and was taken to a local hospital for treatment with severe injuries. A DNR spokesman told USA Today July 14th, that was yesterday, the attack occurred at a rural residence near the town of Comstock. Multiple agencies, including the U.S. Department of Agriculture and officers from Barron County, responded to the 911 call and began searching for the bear. I don't mean to make fun of this, but how do you identify a black bear that has attacked somebody? Does he have any specific markings? Is he of any particular size? What does he have that sets this bear apart from other bears that live in the area? I mean, do they approach the bear? I'm trying to be a little humorous here. Approach the bear and say, "Hey, you been in the area of Comstock?" "No, where's Comstock? Never heard of it." You can't even communicate with them, so how do you know? DNR said July 13th's efforts to capture the bear were ongoing, with several bear traps set up at the scene. I guess they feel that the bear might come back to the location. Authorities attempted to track the bear with the aid of a trained dog. While they were able to locate a cub in a tree, indicating this involved a sow, a female, and a cub, the search for the second bear was eventually unsuccessful. It says the goal is to euthanize the bear and assess its condition, the agency said, adding it is not known why the attack occurred. Then it goes on and talks about living with bears in Wisconsin. And I thought, well, we've got this bear issue going on right here in Greenwood. Wisconsin is home to an estimated 24,000 bears. And while no human fatalities have been recorded in the state's history, incidents of black bears attacking or killing humans do occur, even if they're very rare, DNR said. Black bears are generally secretive, not aggressive, and tend to avoid humans as much as possible, but bears are sometimes known to be aggressive if cubs are present and feel threatened. Here we go. Ooh, hold on. All right, I'm sorry. I'm having a little allergy attack here this morning. What to do in a bear encounter, and we've been told the same thing here in South Carolina. Minimize food attractants around your residence or camp. Use bird feeders only in the wintertime. And bring them in at night so they are inaccessible to bears. This is what they're saying in Wisconsin. Deter the animals by hanging feeders 10 feet from the ground and 5 feet out from any surface. If a bear manages to find a feeder, remove it immediately. Keep garbage cans secured, clean, and inside sheds. Do not leave loose garbage around. Do not leave pet food outside. Keep grills clean and secure. If you encounter a bear in your yard, around your home, place yourself in a secure area so the bear has a clean escape path, and make a lot of noise by yelling, honking a car horn, banging pots and pans. So, I hearken back to my bear encounter on July 4th when all the fireworks were going off, right? And, excuse me. And how this bear came out of the fireworks. Penny and I were out there. She has no fear of fireworks. I don't think this girl has fear of much of anything. But we were standing out there watching the fireworks, and the bear came out of the woods and was headed flying right towards us. As I told you in my story, at first I thought, what is this black dog doing in my yard? Then I looked again, and it was a little heavier, and I said, is that a coyote? Don't tell me the coyotes are back in my yard. Then as this thing is lopping across the field and it gets closer because it was dusk, it was hard to see, I said, oh my God, Penny, that's a bear. And she's standing up on her two hind feet, and she looked like a meerkat. You know, the meerkats they used to show on those, I don't know, National Geographic shows and everything. There's this meerkat, my girl Penny, standing up going, Let me go, Mom. I can take him. So all of a sudden, this bear is headed right towards us. I'm looking at the situation. There was no way we could really escape at that moment. So I just decided to use my biggest and harshest voice. You better get out of here. And it was very loud. And Penny says, oh, okay, I'll bark, Mom. So she started barking, and I'm yelling at the bear, and the bear's going, oh, I'm just trying to get out of the woods so I don't get attacked by these darn fireworks. Anyways, he went back into the woods. We never saw him again. But it's interesting that they say make a lot of noise by yelling, honking a car horn, or banging pots and pans. Our local DNR has said that they realize putting your trash out in the morning is hard to do, but that they certainly hope that you will take and put your trash out early in the morning rather than leaving it out overnight. So securing your trash cans, bird feeders. I know several people in the area have had bird feeders that keep getting trash because they get the food of the bird feeders. And if you leave dog food, cat food outside when your pet is not eating it, that's going to be something that's going to attract them to it. So if you don't want the bears in your yard, if you don't want to have to deal with this, and we shouldn't want to deal with this, these are wild animals, then help yourself by keeping the bear out of your yard. So that, my friends, is going to do it for my show here today. I got my pink hat on. Let's see. We've had a couple of comments come in this morning. One, I think, was on Pamela Evett. Supremo Texter says she is a real down-to-earth, relatable person. She definitely knows the job and the people of South Carolina. And that is because she's been on radio shows like mine right here on WCRS the first Thursday of every month. And she's traveled the state. Do you know she even went to War College up there in outside of Washington, D.C.? She went to a war college. I mean, she has taken every advantage to being a person that had the job and took the education, learned all about it, and realized that while she could be making a lot more money in her business, she realizes that she wanted to serve. I hope you will consider looking up more information about Pamela Evett. We've got a long way to go. They can't even officially sign up until March of next year. But the race is on for the next governor for the state of South Carolina. I think the next question is Nancy Mace going to jump in and muddy the waters? Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. Is Nancy Mace going to jump in and muddy the waters? That's the question. We don't know. We don't really know. So, but she is certainly making a lot of noise up there in Washington, D.C. And, I think the question for Nancy Mace really is going to be, she survived one challenge last year by being the way Nancy Mace is. Can she do it again? Or is her time in Washington, D.C., or maybe is she deciding that her time in Washington, D.C. should come to a close? I don't know. But the one thing is for sure, can she will she simply muddy the waters, or can she actually be in it to win it? And that is the question every candidate should ask. I find it very interesting. In closing, I want to say I find it very interesting that Josh Kimbrell, who has also put his hat in the ring for governor, is now being sued by people that are in his business partners for $2 million of being taken from his campaign, from his business, and ostensibly was being used in his campaign. But $2 million has been, according to the lawsuit, allegedly, has been taken out of his business and put into that. I find the timing of this coming to light as he just, I don't know, 2 weeks ago put his name in to run for governor, and all of a sudden this lawsuit appears. Does anybody find that suspicious? It does. But I haven't seen where Josh Kimbrell has made a statement about it. Has he come out with anything yet? Let's see. I don't see anything so far. You know, he also was a former Christian talk show radio host. Well, this is a most interesting development, but I also find it most interesting the timing of this coming out. What is it, 2 weeks after he decided to throw his name in the hat? That needs more investigation, and hopefully he will make a statement here very soon. Who knows whether it's true or not? I have no idea. He's allegedly accused of this in a lawsuit. So, if you're going to get into politics, you better expect to get your nose bloodied. That's all I can say. You better be able to fight like a girl and fight to win. Yes, that is what I have to say. You can't be a wimpy and get into politics. Hey, that's going to do it for me. I am Ann Eller. I appreciate each and every one of you who tune in with us right here every morning on the radio or on Facebook. I do tell you I find it very interesting how many people go back and watch the videos at the end of the day. I guess when you have time or something, you watch the videos. We don't always have that much interaction right here live on the radio, which is when I launch my prize giveaway program. Is going to be good for all of you who are listening on the radio and say, I don't need to see Ann, I'll just listen on the radio. But you'll want to be able to get in on Facebook Live. Anyways, that's going to do it for me. Have a blessed day. No show this afternoon. No show tomorrow afternoon. I don't think we even have a show Thursday afternoon because Ann is tired. I'm just tired. But I will be doing the morning show, but I am taking a little bit of a rest from all the interviews and whatnot we've done. So have a great afternoon. I will be back tomorrow morning, and I will be loaded with bear. Well, no, I'll be loaded with stories for tomorrow morning. So you carry on and have a good one. That's going to do it for me. I'm going to go spend some time with Penny because she feels that she's been totally ignored. Nobody loves me. I just should be the center of attention all the time. Bye-bye, y'all. Take it away. The end is near.
Keep on sharing. Phones are open. Keep on laughing. Give us a call. You gotta keep on caring. As long as you've got a voice, don't ever stop. As long as you've got truth, don't ever stop. You're on the air. As long as you've got love. What's on your mind?